Hey there, welcome to my channel. I'm Maureen and today we are going to be doing this Tunisian crochet halter top. It's really soft and it fits perfectly, and also it has a needle-like kind of body because it's not so big and takes real small yarn. So this is the texture that you are going to be doing. So you'll need a pair of scissors, you'll need a tape measure, you'll need I'm going to be using this 2mm Tunisian crochet hook. I'm also going to be using a Dani needle, and I'm going to be using a robin yarn. So even if you don't have a Tunisian crochet hook, you can use a normal hook. Just make sure that the loops don't get off the hook. So first you're going to make a slip knot, and after making a slip knot, I'm going to chain 55. But this is for a size small, so if you have a bigger size, remember we're making this top from top to bottom, so you can measure from the middle of your left collarbone to the middle of your right collarbone. So make that your chain should be that long, and then after I'm going to go into the second chain from the hook and pull up a loop, go into the third chain from the hook and pull up a loop, go into the fourth chain from the hook and also pull up a loop. And I'm going to do this, I'm going to keep on pulling up loops up to the end of my chain. So the number of the number of loops on your hook should be the exact number of the chain that you made. So here we are. Don't forget, you can simply measure this top, because all you need is you are going to measure from the middle of your left collarbone to the middle of your right collarbone. So for mine it was 9 inches. So this is what I have. Chain 55. Now I have 55 loops on my hook. And the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to begin yarning over. And don't forget, even if you don't have a Tunisian crochet hook, you can do this top. So yarn over and pull through one loop. Then yarn over and then pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2. So I'm going to keep pulling through 2 loops up to the end of the row. Remember, for Tunisian crochet, the row is done only after you have made a return row. That is 1 row. So continue pulling through 2 loops. Here I am, pull through 2 and pull through the last 2 loops. So this is row 1. Row 1 is done. So we are going to begin increasing. So you're going to yarn over, and then you can hold that loop and go into the second chain bar. For Tunisian crochet, the first chain bar is, we begin counting from there. So go into the second chain bar and pull up a loop, go into the third chain bar and pull up a loop, go into the fourth chain bar and pull up a loop, and you're going to go into each and every chain bar whilst pulling up a loop up to the last chain bar. So just pull up a loop up to the last chain bar. Continue pulling up a loop, pull up a loop, and I'm going to do this up to the last chain bar. So here I come almost to the last chain bar. Continue to pull up a loop, insert your hook, pull up a loop, insert your hook, pull up a loop, insert your hook and pull up a loop, insert your hook and pull up a loop. So before you insert your hook into the last chain bar, you're going to yarn over, because remember we are increasing. So yarn over, insert, and then pull up a loop. So remember, we started off with 55 chains, or the number of chains you started with. When you count, the number of chains should be increased by 2. So yarn over, pull through 1 loop, then after pulling through 1 loop, you're going to be pulling through 2 loops up to the end of the chain. So you need to understand that when you're increasing each and every row, whenever you reach another row, you should be having 2 more loops on your hook. So continue pulling through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and I'm going to do that up to the last 2 loops on the hook. So this is what I have: yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, and then we're going to pull through 2. So row 2 is done. So for row 3, this is why we have, don't mind about the folding, because when you wear it, it won't be folding. So we are increasing, so you're going to yarn over, you're going to yarn over and go into that. There is that tiny loop that, remember when you yarned over, so that's the loop right there. And then when you yarned over the end of the row, that's the loop right there that you need to go into. Before there's a loop right there, you'll have to go into it before going into the last chain bar. So yarn over, go into that second chain bar, then continue pulling up a loop up to the last chain bar. So continue inserting and pulling up a loop through each chain bar. So this is what you have, and I'm going to do this up to the end, up to this side. So here we go. You're going to go into that chain bar and pull up a loop. Always remember to hold it off. So go into that, pull up a loop, go into that, pull up a loop. Now there is this small chain bar. Remember when you yarned over, so this is the chain bar right here, or the loop. So go into it and pull up a loop, then yarn over, and then go into the last chain bar, yarn over, go into the last chain bar, and then pull up a loop. So your loops should have increased by 2. Then pull through 1 loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Remember when you're making a return row, the first thing you need to do is pull through 1 loop, and then followed by pulling through 2 loops up to the end of the row. So pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So you're going to do this up to the end of the row, or up to the last 2 loops on your hook this side. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So after that, I'm going to repeat row 3. Don't mind about the folding, because it won't fold when you're wearing it. So yeah, I'm going on to my 4th row. So you can simply repeat row 3, go into that hidden chain bar and pull up a loop. But always forget to yarn over at the beginning, and then to yarn over when you're going into the last chain bar, because that is how you do the increasing. So continue placing your pulling up loops through each and every chain bar. And continue pulling up loops through each and every chain bar. Insert, pull up a loop, go into that hidden chain bar. Also, please don't forget it, and pull up a loop. Then after yarn over, and then go into the last chain bar and pull up a loop. Yarning over before going into the last chain bar is really important. So yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and you're going to repeat that up to the end of the row. So what you need not forget is the fact that you need to yarn over before you go into the second chain bar at the beginning, and then yarning over before you go into the last chain bar at the end, because that's what makes the increase. So I'm going to keep pulling up a loop up to the end, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through 2. So this is what you have. You're going to repeat row 3 or repeat row 4. Yep, you're going to repeat that until when you come up with, I kept increasing until when I came up with 26 rows of increase. So make 26 rows of increase, which is about 7 inches of increase. So this is what I have. Still, remember, I have, it shows 8, but I did chain up to 9, so it can stretch up to 9 inches. This is the top part of the top, and for the increase I made up to 7 inches of increase, and this is exactly 26 inches. Sorry, this is exactly 26 rows, and then the middle part is 17 inches wide. So when I come up with 17 inches wide, I stop increasing, and then I begin working without increasing. And not, remember, we've been yarning over before we start, so if we stop increasing, you're going to stop yarning over before you start. And then after that, I'm going to simply go into that second chain bar without yarning over, because that is really important. That is how you stop increasing. I'm not yarning over. I'll simply go into the following chain bar and pull up a loop, and I also won't yarn over at the end of the row. Yes, so it doesn't matter how big you are, just make sure that you have come up with the length that you want and the width that you want. And after that, you can stop yarning over and simply going into the chain bars without increasing. So go into that, pull up a loop, and then don't yarn over before you go into the last chain bar. Simply go into it and pull up a loop, and after that, you know the drill. You're going to yarn over and pull through one loop, yarn over, pull through one loop, and then yarn over, pull through 2, and I'm going to continue pulling through 2 up to the end of the row. So this is like my 27th row, because remember I increased up to 26th row. So if you want your top a little longer, you can continue making more rows of increase, or you can simply stop right here. So row 27 is done, so we are going to go on to row 28. Remember, I'm no longer increasing, so simply go into it, pull up a loop, go into the next chain bar, pull up a loop, go into the next chain bar and pull up a loop. The magic is that you are no longer going to yarn over before going into the second chain bar and the last chain bar. So continue doing that up to the end of the row, up to the last chain bar. Continue pulling up a loop. Here we are. I'll show you. Just insert, pull up a loop, insert your hook and pull up a loop, go into the chain bar and pull up a loop. That is how you stop increasing. We are not yarning over before we go into the last chain bar. So continue pulling through 2 up to the end, up to the last 2 loops on your hook, and that is how we'll be done with row 28. So coming to the end of row 28, pull through 2. So row 28 is done. So this is what I have. You can see that it's showing that it's no longer increasing. the same applies to this side. So you're going to repeat row 28. You're going to repeat row 28. I made a total of 14 inches of no increase. I made a total of 14 inches of no increase. I'll show you one more time. Just make sure that you don't yarn over the beginning and at the end of when you're inserting your hook into the last chain bar right here. Don't yarn over so that you don't make an increase anymore. So I made 14 rows of no increase. So when you combine 14 rows plus 26, how many do you get? Let me count first. The whole top is made up of 40 rows. So yep, it is 10 inches long and it shows that it's around 15 inches, 15.5 inches wide, but remember it stretches, so it can stretch up to 17 inches. So, and here it is 9 inches at the beginning of, at the top part of the top, it is 9 inches. It stretches to 9 inches. So when you're done with that, I'm going to change to a normal crochet hook, not a Tunisian one, and I'm going to be single crocheting. I'm going to single crochet so that I can cover up the spaces between the chain bars. So I'm going to single crochet. This is the lower part of the top, remember. So single crochet, continue single crocheting up to the other end of the top. So I'm going to single crochet up to the end of the lower part of the top right there. Come into the end, continue single crocheting into each and every chain bar. And when we are done with this, we are going to be placing our holes where the straps are going to be passing. So go into that space and go into that space with a single crochet. And after that, I'm going to make a chain of 3 because this is the opening where our loops is going to be passing, the lower opening. So make a chain of 3, then leave some real space. Leave some space and then go into the insert your hook and make a single crochet after leaving some space because there is no specific stitches where you can count. And after that, I'm going to be single crocheting up to the other part where we stopped increasing from, and I'll also place a hole there. The part where we stopped increasing, I'll place a tiny hole there too. So single crochet up to this part, I'll place a hole here, then I'll meet you at the top part here, the top part where we're supposed to be placing our strap. So continue single crocheting up to that part, insert your hook, single crochet, and then after this you're going to make a chain. I made a chain of around 200. So make a long chain. You can make it as long as you want. So when I measured, I came up with, grab your tape measure and measure how long my strap is. It's 35 inches. You can make 35 up to 40 or even 50, doesn't matter. So go into the second chain from the hook and you're going to be inserting a single crochet. So I'm simply going to single crochet my way up to the point where I started off. So continue single crocheting. single crochet up this point right there. So here we come, continue single crocheting. So insert your single crochet, set another single crochet, and soon you're going to be attaching it to the top. This is how it looks like. Place, then go into that point with a slip stitch. So you can see this is how it looks, strongly attached. And after that I'm going to continue single crocheting around the top part of the top. So continue placing the single crochets, and I'm going to be doing this up to the other part where I'm supposed to place another strap. Continue single crocheting up to this point right here, this point. So here I am, I'm done placing my single crochets. I'm going to go into that space with a single crochet, then go into this with a single crochet. Then after, I'm going to begin making a chain. Remember, you can make a chain of up to 200, or if you want it longer you can add more chains, but I made a chain that is worth 35 inches long. So I'm going to make a chain that is worth 35 inches long, then I'll make a return row, and I'll meet you at the point of attaching the strap. I'm going to do the exact same thing I did to the other strap onto this strap too. So after making my chain, this is the return row. So I'm simply going to attach my strap to the top. So our strap is done. So the next thing I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be inserting another hole at the beginning of at the exact point where we stopped increasing from, and then at the very lower part of the top. So I followed that line, then placed my stitch marker, followed the line, then placed my stitch marker. I wanted it to be in the exact same line that I placed the other hole, so I did the same thing this side. So I'm going to single crochet. There's no exact stitch where you can place your single crochets, but just make sure that you don't place too many into one stitch, because that will make your top fold more like a ruffle kind of thing. So I'm going to single crochet up to this point where I've placed the stitch marker. Here we are, coming to the point where I placed my stitch marker. I'm going to insert, then I'm going to remove the stitch marker. I used the thread for that. Then I'm going to make a chain of 3, 2, 3, then skip some space, going to the next chain, the next more like a stitch. Just leave some space, like you don't need to count a lot, just leave some space. Then continue single crocheting, and I'm going to be placing another hole at the very end of the top. So here we are, you're going to place a single crochet, then after you can make a chain, 1, 2, 3, go into the last stitch right there, and then I went there with the slip stitch, then I made a chain, followed by cutting off the yarn and then pulling out the chain, the loop. So the top is completely done. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to weave in the ends. You can see the straps are in place and the holes are in place. So you don't mind about the folding, because when you wear it, trust me, it won't be folding. So this is what I have. This is the wrong side of the top, remember? So I'm going to be using these real tiny needles. Pull. I'm using the tiny needles to weave in the ends or you can weave in the ends whichever way, with whichever method that you prefer. After that, you can cut off the excess yarn, and then yep, your top is done. This is the wrong side of the top. You shouldn't mind about the folding. This is the wrong side of the top, and yep, that's the wrong side of the top. And this is the right side of the top. You can look at the clean and neat stitches. Yep, so this is what I came up with. So if you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and you can also hit the subscription button. You can also follow me on my Instagram. Thank you for watching.